Wow, what an incredible episode. I mean, we spent all season being like, what are you doing with this show? Come on, Lucasfilm. And it finally came into focus today. I'm a little surprised that something that's supposed to be from an incredibly professional companies, one of which has been telling Star Wars stories for decades, is still putting forward content that feels like it literally is a second draft, but a second draft instead of the final thing. I can't believe there's no one at Lucasfilm who didn't read the scripts for all 6 episodes and go, oh, now that I've read episode 6, I see what you're trying to do here. Let's fix the rest of the season so that it's as strong as your ending. But, it is what it is. And once again, a Disney Plus series really sticks the landing. And no matter how many complaints we had while we were watching it, we're here for season 2. And I think for sure, even though this is being billed as a limited series, they will tell more Obi-Wan stories. Ewan McGregor's going around saying he wants to tell more stories. And with this season finale, they're clearly setting up a much better second season. Maybe they're just calling it a limited series to try and help it during the awards season. Because, to qualify as a limited series, you're not supposed to continue. I don't think this is going to get any nominations, so they should just admit that they're hopefully going to do more. But, Obi-Wan is literally back in the saddle again with Qui Gon at his side. Oh, that was great. Liam Neeson pulled an Andrew Garfield, right? And that's what that's called now. Aggressively bluffing that you're not involved in an upcoming project. And you earned that, Andrew Garfield. You earned that. It is definitely called pulling a Garfield. And Liam Neeson, he did a great job. He was very anti-streaming recently. But we knew it was too good an opportunity to pass up having him come back here. And I don't even like the prequels, and I was like, that's a great moment. Gave me the feels. I love it. How could we not have the continued adventures of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon back together again and throw Reva in there as she finds her way back to the path of the Jedi? She's already got the cloak on. She's already mid-transformation. There have been rumors about her getting her own show, but I believe she should stick around here as she and Obi-Wan have this shared pain coming from Anakin Skywalker's betrayal of the Jedi. They interact with Anakin on the same day, pretty much. And I think that's really good stuff. I think when Obi-Wan comes to Reva at the end of this episode, it seems so clear that he's meant to help guide her on this next part of her journey. Now, as for Anakin Skywalker, let me just say that Hayden Christensen was worth the wait. Good for him. Good for him. Talk about a comeback story. Not just with last week's flashback, but here this week, everything came together quite well. With the broken helmet, as some of you pointed out, lifted straight from Rebels, but we'll allow it, because now we get to see it in live action, to Reva's flashbacks. That was all edited together, and I think really well, and put together a really compelling portrait of the man behind the mask. But first let me just say, good for Reva. She did not become Vader. She did not follow him to the dark side. And I think that was really good, even though I think that part of the story today was rushed. They didn't have enough space. They don't have enough space. I'm going to say it again at the end of this breakdown, but I really feel that 6 episodes is not enough for the stories that Disney Plus is telling, and they should be 8 to 10, like what Netflix does. So Darth Vader, an incredible character, but damn it, Hayden Christensen is actually overpowering him with this incredible portrayal, again, of the man behind the mask, Anakin Skywalker. That moment where he alternates between his Anakin Skywalker voice and his Darth Vader voice, James Earl Jones, chef's kiss! Mwah! I loved it. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but more helmetless Vader scenes, please. Can you believe that? Who would ever think that we'd want to see that? But I have to say, also, it's getting old real fast seeing Vader sashay around with his cloak. As I said, he never parks near the entrance. He's walking everywhere. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I think a little Vader goes a long way. And I think they have no choice but to dive more into Anakin because, they've always used Vader sparingly in the past. And I think we can see now that that was the right choice. I'd like to add also that by having Luke and Leia in this story, something at first we did not care for, I actually, with Obi-Wan having that heart-to-heart with Leia at the end, that totally brought it again into focus for me. It makes them more connected to their parents through this show. And it does both Luke and Leia a lot of favors, who have never really been explored despite being the stars of one of the biggest franchises of all time and the first blockbuster franchise, although that's partly Lucasfilm's own fault because it took them so long to tell any more Luke and Leia stories, and then once they finally brought Luke and Leia back, they separated them and didn't do anything with them because they wanted to parse out OG characters for the new movies, which was a really bad decision. Also because we so tragically lost Carrie Fisher. Now, Leia has always had a real bad attitude. Some of you think it's spunky and cute. I've always had a problem with it. But to see that comes from Anakin, as Obi-Wan points out here, that's fascinating to me. That gives Leia not only gives Leia more depth and makes her, I think, a more likable character, in my opinion, because you can see it's shades of her father. And I think it shows how close she is to taking. And they should have explored that, whether or not Leia would be drawn to the dark side, because she does have the more attitude than Luke. Isn't that interesting? I think Luke is the Padme of the two of them, and Leia takes after her father. What a miss. I hope maybe they'll explore that at some point. But not only does it give Leia more depth, but it shows what Anakin could have been if he had not gone to the dark side. And so that Leia's success almost makes up for his failures, depending who you're asking. I mean, Emperor Palpatine's like, I think Anakin's great. All right, but anyway, I just think it's really fascinating, and it makes Leia an infinitely more interesting character, in my opinion. This series was delayed due to Lucasfilm being unhappy with the scripts, and I think we can see that they never truly fixed those scripts. And I hope for the second season, I feel bad for Deborah Chow. I mean, I would like to see her redeem herself, but at the same time, I'd maybe like to see another director take a crack at this. But I would definitely like to see another writer come on board, because they have some really good stuff here as we're discussing, but it's not getting fleshed out nearly as well as it should be. As for a second season, we've got not just Reva, but potentially Quinlan Voss, who was name checked here, Cal Kestis, as they showed off some stuff from that game, with exploring the fortress, what was it, Inquisitorus? That's so stupid. And then maybe also some Ahsoka. Thank you very much. But on that note, how does the Obi Wan show make sure it differs from the upcoming Ahsoka show, besides just taking place before and after the OG trilogy, the original trilogy? And by the way, will Ahsoka be talking to Obi-Wan's Force Ghost? I'd like to see that. That would be great. She could also potentially talk to Anakin. And he is, of course, Hayden Christensen is confirmed for that show. Oh, I like this a lot. It's fitting that Obi-Wan would be the first to see, a Force Ghost. He's so cool. He's so powerful. We'll get to the fight. We'll get to all that. All right, but so finally, 6 episodes in, at the very end, the Obi-Wan show finally took shape. Suddenly, we see what this show has been trying to say all along, that Obi-Wan is torn between his promise to protect Luke and Leia, yet, as one of the only experienced Jedi left, he's also needed to protect and shepherd the next generation of Jedi, not only the ones who are emerging, Force-sensitive children, but the ones who are lost like Reva. That's great. I can't believe it took so long for the show to make that clear. Some of you might be like, I understood that all along. Well, your numbers were few. I believe that's why the Path storyline was included here. I believe that's why they did that. But they didn't make it clear enough. And I think with the Path stuff, they focused way too much on Tala. I understand why they did that, because they were like, oh, she's like Obi-Wan and her guilt and wanting to self-sacrifice. But it obscured the point of the Path storyline and the Force-sensitive children. Obi-Wan didn't interact with any Force-sensitive children. He was interacting with a fake Jedi, although Kumail Nanjiani, you stick around too. But anyway, it turns out Obi-Wan can do both, which I think is the choice he makes at the end, to accept help from Jimmy Smits and Joel Edgerton. They can look after Luke and Leia like they're supposed to, thank you very much. Although Jimmy Smits is the one who made a mistake. Joel Edgerton's been doing an excellent job. But anyway, Obi-Wan goes off to help the Jedi, I assume, while they look after Luke and Leia. Because, also Luke and Leia, they're still cooking with the Force juices. They're not quite ready. But yes, Obi-Wan learns to delegate. That's basically the gist of this show. It was so cool to see Obi-Wan return to greatness, and it reminds us that he is truly one of the greatest Star Wars characters. At the end, with his hair slicked back again, the weight of Anakin lifted off his shoulders, the cool orange goggles around his neck, and that hello there to Luke, chills! I didn't even need to see Luke's reaction. That was incredible. That was incredible. That will become... There are so many great moments here for the Obi-Wan character that if you're ever going to make an Obi-Wan clip reel, you're going to be including them from this scenes from this episode. And probably not too much from the rest of this series. But anyway, let's talk about that fight. Totally makes up for the really weak battle in episode 3. The only problem was that the lightsabers still don't look right. One of you pointed out they look less like beams of light and more like glow sticks. In the club. But it's a minor quibble because everything else is absolutely perfect here. Movie level fight. From the opening shot, which was so amazing, it looked like concept art. You know, when you're like, why does the actual project never look as good as the concept art? It looked great. That's largely because that was a digital shot, but I don't care. It was amazing. And to see Obi-Wan being probably the most powerful Jedi we've seen to date was amazing. Yeah, that's what I wanted out of this show. What we've always hoped to see from Luke, and that we've kind of gotten with his Mando appearances so far. But wow, to see a Jedi unleashed. It was incredible. From his amazing form with the lightsaber, this shot right here, instantly iconic, to his use of the Force. He's this close to flying, and I am here for it. I thought for sure he was going to fly out of the ground when he freed himself from the rubble, or at least do a Force jump. But I mean, it was great. It was so good. When he's moving all the boulders, some of you said he was earthbending. It's just incredible. Oh my gosh. And then, surprise, Anakin got Obi-Wan a gift. And I wonder if it was intentional, because you can sense there is still a bond between the two of them. Heck, that's why they don't kill each other. That's why they keep letting each other live in these big battles. I mean, that's largely because they have to do that because they have their final battle in episode 4. But I think the logic behind why they keep letting each other go is that there is still a bond there. And I think that works, and it's very powerful for both characters. Although it is a little bit like Joker and Batman, right? When you think about it, you're like, all the Darth Vader deaths are on you, Obi-Wan, because you keep letting him. You keep letting Vader live. That's fascinating. I believe the Jedi can kill, right? Interesting. All right, so anyway, Vader tells Obi-Wan that Obi-Wan didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker killed himself. And that frees Obi-Wan of his guilt. And he no longer addresses Vader as Anakin, but instead as Darth as he says goodbye to him. And that was also very, very powerful. It's also, as some of you pointed out, what Obi-Wan tells Luke, that Darth Vader killed his father. And this show makes that no longer a cover story, but the truth. I like that a lot. And what a burden off of Obi-Wan's shoulder. He feels lighter at the end of the show, and that gives it a very strong prequel vibe, which I'm sure many of you appreciate. I even appreciated it. And again, I'm not a big fan of the prequels, but I liked seeing that Obi-Wan back again, and gives a bright future for a potential season 2. All right, so now that it's over and you can see what they were trying to accomplish here, do you think they accomplished it? And what did you think of the show overall? Do you want more? I'd like more. I definitely want more. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'd keep young Luke and Leia around as well, as Obi-Wan is bound to them, and they're part of his story and he's part of theirs. I'd keep all of it. Again, these Disney Plus shows just need to be longer. They had all the great materials here, but they just didn't have enough space to do it properly. They need to be 8 to 10. I mean, maybe not every episode, but they really, on some of them, this needed to be 8 to 10 for sure. All right, share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.